Hey, we're in the New Testament today, looking at the Gospels, Matthew chapter 7 and Luke chapter 6, verses 37 through 49. This is the end of where we began 4 days ago, the Sermon on the Mount. This is Jesus speaking to the common people, and it seems that a few Pharisees and Sadducees may be sprinkled in here as well. This is the conclusion, as I mentioned, to that Sermon on the Mount. We began in chapter 7 of Matthew, also paralleled in Luke chapter 6, verses 37 to 42, with the admonition to judge not that you be not judged. Now, you may be a little surprised at what that has to do with. It's aimed at the Pharisees, I should point out. And Luke chapter 6, verse 38 is there in that passage as well. It's about forgiveness. And I think you may be surprised. You know the verse that goes, "Give, and it shall be given to you, pressed down," and so forth. Well, that verse is in today's reading, Luke 6:38, and I think you might be a little surprised to find out that it has nothing to do with money. And then in Matthew chapter 7, verses 13 and 14, we find the word about the wide road and the narrow road, the big road, little road. We see that Jesus says, "Enter ye in at the strait gate, because wide is the gate and broad is the way which leads to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. But strait is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that enter therein." You're going to know what that's about, so be sure and read that, and read it closely. Then in chapter 7 of Matthew, verses 15 to 23, and Luke chapter 6, verses 43 to 46, Jesus talks about false prophets. Wow, who are these false prophets? Well, read it and see, and I think you'll agree with my determination. Then we have a lesson in that passage on fruit inspection. Inspecting people's fruit. What is the fruit of their ministry? And finally, in Matthew chapter 7, verses 24 to 29, and Luke chapter 6, verses 47 through 49, Jesus admonishes them to not forget what they've just heard. Well, that's what's in store for today's reading, and we'll see you tomorrow.